Hey guys, welcome to this MobiFlight release review video today. My name is Sebastian. I am the creator of MobiFlight and I'm super thrilled that I was able to release a new version of MobiFlight, version 8.1, just a couple of days ago. Many of you are already using it. And in this video, I'm going to provide you more information about the different enhancements, improvements, and bug fixes that come with this new version. All right, before we jump over to the website and actually download MobiFlight, I want to say a couple of words about MobiFlight being an open source project. Being an open source project is really important to me because I want that there is a home cockpit solution for people that is really accessible, meaning it's easy to use, but it's also there's no cost coming with it. And I'm super proud and happy that I was able to achieve this with MobiFlight, and I can also see of how the community, how engaged everyone is, and that makes me also like super happy and proud. There's so much going on. There's so many people that are sharing their ideas, that are sharing what they have built. There's a lot of knowledge that is passed on from one to another, and we even have people that are contributing to MobiFlight software and Arduino firmware, and this has picked up recently, and I'm really happy about that. So big thank you to everyone who is already contributing. And I also want to take this opportunity and invite everyone who's out there who's not yet maybe like part of the MobiFlight community, but if you have coding skills, if you know about Arduino, if you know about cockpit building and whatnot, so join and contribute, share what you got, and help me also with improving MobiFlight software. It's so cool if this is a community effort, and it's a great example of how this awesome flight sim community can work together and really achieve great things. All right, so here we are on the MobiFlight website at mobiflight.com, and you can download it from here or from there. Just click on any of those and it takes you to the download page. And up here you can always download for free the latest version, which is in this case 8.1.4, which we're also going to talk about. And then here beneath you can find the release notes for all the individual releases. And in the video we're going to take a look at 8.1 and 8.1.1 to 8.1.4, which I had to create a couple of hotfix releases because my quality assurance process was not working 100%. But anyways, it's also a great thing, or it's an easy thing to create a new release and distribute it to the different people, because there is this auto update mechanism built into MobiFlight, and I'm going to show that real quick because my MobiFlight version that I have installed is on 8.1.3, so it's not the most current. I'm going to start it. You see 8.1.3, and then it immediately informs you, hey, there's a new version, and then you say, yes, please update. It's just gonna close out MobiFlight real quick so that it can update it, and then it's gonna restart, and you see that we upgraded to 8.1.4. So this is this new installer that I had been talking about, and it works really good. And as you can see, it's super fast and it's very easy. Now that I'm starting this, you can see during the startup there's a new screen popping up. This is important for all the Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 users because it offers you to install the most recent WASM module, which is needed for the communication between MobiFlight and Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. So you can do this automatically now. This is a new feature of 8.1. No need to copy manually folders and copy the wrong stuff by accident or forget to copy it. So this is super easy. I already have installed it. So if I say install now, it will already tell me that MobiFlight was already installed and up to date. So there is a version check that it performs. Great, so let's continue. MobiFlight is now booting or starting up, and it provides us with the 8.1.4 version. Cool, so this is great. I need this so that we can actually, so that I can illustrate and explain better what the changes are or what the new features are. One feature we already saw, but this is actually here in this list. Oh, yeah, it's the first one from the new features. Auto install WASM module. So we already saw that. It is now possible. There's another cool thing. If you actually bring this back, and there's also menu entry here. This is new extras, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, and then you can say install WASM module in case, for example, you have skipped it during the first startup. Or maybe you have messed around with it and you're not sure if it's still in the state it's supposed to be, then just click on this and it's going to install the latest module. That's pretty cool. So the feature with number 313, let me zoom in here a little bit. 313, it says WASM module, support complex events and arbitrary LVARs. Oh man, that sounds really complicated. It's not actually. So let's take a look at the things here. You might have seen that the WASM module brings an events text file with it. And oh great. And then, yeah, we can now do really like complicated things, execute really code in the WASM module. Those of you who have beta updates enabled, they know what I'm talking about because, yeah, a lot of you guys are already using it. Let me scroll down here a little bit to the more complicated things. Yeah, you can see like this one here. It allows us to map the event to a more complicated code that will be executed in the context of the WASM module and your airplane, and it also allows us to read and write to the LVARs, which was not possible before. We still don't have the LVARs accessible from MobiFlight for reading, for example, and writing in that sense, but it still allows us to really perform complicated instructions, which is pretty cool. And it is also required for the A320, for example, and all those add-on planes with this more advanced and non-standard stuff that you want to interface with. Cool. There is another cool feature related to the events system, which is provide a download function to update Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 events. This is also here in this menu, download latest events. And this means that the community is maintaining this event list, and they also do it independently from the released version. So if you install MobiFlight today and the events list might get updated tomorrow. Actually, for example, today rofl-er provided a new version, and you can download this most recent version from the website. So clicking on this, now it says latest WASM events installed successfully. One thing to point out, I think it's a good idea, is that these events, they will only get loaded when your aircraft is loaded. So you might want to either kind of change the airplane that you have, or if Microsoft Flight Simulator is running at this time, or you might actually want to restart Microsoft Flight Simulator if you have trouble with like getting the events to work. All right, so what next? We have Allow to merge different configs into one. This is also a really cool feature that got requested by the community. You have a new option here which says merge. So I have an empty configuration now, and I can merge something. Like, for example, I have my GNS 530. Well, that's a very complicated, but anyways, I'll just take this. So let's say I have a GNS 530 stuff configured, and you see there's a bunch of different configurations. And now I can also go and say, hey, I have another one maybe for my autopilot panel or something. And then I just take this, open it, and it's not going to replace everything, but it is actually going to add to it. And unfortunately, you didn't see any changes here. There were only some changes here on the inputs. Maybe I can take another one. And this simply helps you to kind of probably structure and maintain your configurations a little bit more independently, and then merge it once in a while. Now let's take the switch panel. That should also have, let's see. You saw that there were some configuration added. So it's pretty cool. If you want to keep things separated, you get it to work. And then once you're happy, you can merge everything into one big configuration. Okay, let me reset this. So another feature, 284, support config references and placeholders in input actions. All right, in input actions. That is also cool. You might know if I have a configuration here that does something, maybe I'm looking at a certain value. I know it does not make sense. I can create another configuration here, and I can actually use the value from the other configuration with another placeholder. So this is nothing new. This was available for output configurations, but you can do the same thing now with the inputs. For example, you want to have some logic, some precondition, or you want to set a value or so based on another value that does not come from your current input. So you can see that we have the similar dialog with config references here. It only shows output config references because input config references would not make any sense. And you can assign a placeholder, and the placeholder then can be used either here, where you can, for example, compare it, or you can also use it in the input case here in any of the value fields. This is pretty cool. I know it's a little advanced stuff, and probably not everyone is going to use such complex configuration from the get-go, but anyway, it's good to have it, and you guys requested it, so now you have it. All right, let's start over again. Improvements. The config wizard provides a settings dialog when modules do not have an output device. Yeah, this is actually something really cool. And to show this, I have to actually kill. Do I have this backed up? Save. Radio. Yeah, let's just save it. So let's remove all the devices, remove. So let's assume this is a module that has been connected for the first time and does not have any configuration so far in terms of devices. Let's upload this configuration. So this is basically a brand new Arduino board that just got flashed with the MobiFlight firmware. So when I go to outputs here, when I create a new output line and I go into edit and I go to display and I say I'll pick this module, it tells me, oh, the selected module does not contain any output devices. Do you want to add such device? And then I can go say yes, and I go here and I add a device like output, and I upload this like this. All right, so now I can use it. Now it's happy. It's kind of a nice user flow. So this was available before, but we didn't have this available for input configuration. So it's really just a little convenience thing for users that you're using MobiFlight for the first time. Again, it tells me, oh, your radio module does not have any input devices. Do you want to add one? Yeah, let's go. Let's do it. Radio, add a device, like an input device, like a button. Upload this thing. Once it's finished, it takes us back to the original dialog here, and then we can go on and configure. And I think that's pretty cool because it's just really, really helpful and makes the learning process easier, especially for the new MobiFlight users. Show correct names for analog pins in dropdowns when defining devices. Well, this is something also really cool. I wanted to do this for a long time, and to be very honest with you, even though it sounds like it's a little thing, it was a lot of effort, and it was also the reason for at least one of the hotfixes that I had to create. So as we know, MobiFlight uses Arduino Megas or uses Arduino Micros, and they come with their different pins. And in the past, it was always showing only the number values. But if you look at the board, actually, for the analog ports that we can use, it doesn't show 54 on the board. It's printed, or it says A0, you know, what's printed on the board. It says A1. And now you can see that the dropdown actually provides you with these names. And again, this is a usability thing. It just makes it so much easier for people to pick the right pin and not getting confused with this numbers for the analog things, which was really not straightforward. Even I had to always look it up and I was not able to tell off the top of my head. So this is really cool. Cost me some gray hair, but it's really, really nice. Where was I? Show correct names. Awesome. So then as a user, I can test button events without connection to the SIM. Well, this is also something which is a usability improvement. So if you go here and go extras, let's explain first. If you connect a button with MobiFlight, right now here in this section, for example, my switch panel, it's connected, I guess. Is it connected? Or whatever, switch panel. So it has switches. And later on, if I upload this, sometimes I just want to know, is my switch working? Does MobiFlight receive actually signals from this switch? And in the past, you had to kind of put it in offline mode and turn on run mode. And then I figured it's kind of complicated. No one can really assume this. And even though it's still not like the perfect solution to this, but if you go enable logging, and you put log level debug, then you can see down here whenever you hold on, what was it? It's my switchboard, for example. Yeah, so it says no config found for button. It also now has a more complete log entry. It says the switch name, switch 1, and it also tells you the event. Press release. What else? As a user, I can missing autosave in case of deleting elements. Okay, if you create a new entry here, then the save button becomes visible, and then I can save it with my file name. And every time I go and make change, like in here, for example, whatever, like I use this, boom, and I go back, and it's going to activate the save button. Also, if I want to leave MobiFlight, it will actually ask me if I want to save or not. If I save it, it's going to save it. So this kind of auto detect that something has changed. That's what this story is about. Because when you go and in the past, if you deleted the row, then it would not trigger this this icon to turn blue, and you would not get the kind of message that something has changed, and if you want to keep your changes and save them. So this is a little improvement. I already know that if you go here and save it, and then what is still not detected if you only rename this. So this is something that is already on the backlog and will be fixed in the next upcoming release, but it's still an improvement. Clicking the MobiFlight icon on the taskbar should restore it from system tray if minimized there. Well, this was also feedback from the community. Of course, we could always minimize MobiFlight. I'm not sure if you can see this little overlay. There's a little notification pop up. And then you can you have it here. Oh, I currently see that you cannot see it. So my taskbar, let me see if I can drag my taskbar over. It's fixed, lock. Okay, can you see it now? Yeah, now you can see it. It's not the best spot because I have my watermark there, but in this list there's this little MobiFlight connector icon. You always had to double click to restore it. Now it's a single click, which is a little bit more intuitive. It follows the Windows standards. And by the way, if you want that the MobiFlight, once it is, if you want that the MobiFlight icon always is sitting on the taskbar and shown there, you have to actually set that in the taskbar settings. That's a Windows 10 feature. You saw that it just went away. You can do this somehow here on the taskbar. Pick it from a list. Oh, here it is. Select which icons appear on the taskbar. So here it is. You can also see that MobiFlight connector shows twice because I have it installed in different folders, and this way you have it now always sitting in a taskbar. That's very useful. And then we got issue 324, which is a new Micro Pro vendor ID, product ID that I added because it was not, I didn't know that this was also a valid one. Wrong number for Max button devices. Yeah, that's true. Good observation by Peter, also known as Pitzman, on the forums and in Discord. There was a disconnect between the numbers in the FAQ section and the numbers on the website in the documentation and the number in the firmware. So we got this straight now, and it shows everywhere the same and correct value. 335, add pins 4446 as PWM capable. I'm actually not sure if, was this an official thing? Let me, I think I totally forgot about this. PWM. Wow. I just realized reading that the PWM capable chips or pins. Yeah, I totally forget to track this because Pwm support is now available in MobiFlight. This is actually something really cool. It is going to be mentioned in the new features list. I have to create something for it so that people would find it. This is really, really cool. Let me show you. Okay, MobiFlight. Oops. No, that was wrong. I didn't want to click on that. Here. I wanted to click here. So you all know that the Arduino boards have PWM pins. That means they can create a PWM signal, pulse width modulation signal, which then in turn also allows us to create a signal that goes from 0 volts to 5 volts. And this is super cool to drive analog gauges, but it is also cool to dim LEDs. And if you go to settings, and if you go to your radio like this one here, so if you select any of these pins that actually is PWM capable, it will show it in this pin. It's not yet in the list. I actually was wondering to put if I visualize it with an asterisk or so next to the number, so that you can also see from the list which ones are PWM capable. But if you go through these one by one, you will see that then for some of the pins this PWM is going to go away, and for some other pins it's going to show. And apparently 44 to 46 are also PWM capable, and they were not yet configured as such in MobiFlight. If I do it like I have pin 2 here, output is actually pin 2. If I go here to the output configuration and display, and if I pick one of these now, you can see that it says Pwm Mode. And what this does is, since it's a PWM capable pin, you can say, okay, please enable. And now every time you have an output value, yeah, at the very end of your transformation, comparison, and whatnot, it will take this as a value from 0 to 255 and create a PWM signal, meaning like 0 is no pulse, 255 will be on all the time, and all the values in between. So this is really, really cool. You can dim LEDs if that is needed, or you can actually drive analog instruments, analog like indicators, analog gauges, like your VOR indicator or something. So this is actually really, really powerful and has been added, and I just realized that there was actually no story that really mentions it. The last improvement, it's a simple small one. The dialog, the about dialog did not show the correct number, so I cannot currently show this, but beta versions, they are always 4 digits, 814 something, which means it's a beta, and then it will also say beta version up here in the title. And in the about dialog, it was only showing the 3-digit version. So that was a little confusing maybe to some. It's not a real big deal, but you know, we just want to make things right. So we also take care of these little things. Bug fix should be, actually could also be an improvement, not necessarily a bug fix. Modules are not detected, were not detected after start. And this was really getting annoying. There was some refactoring for MobiFlight with how modules are initiated at the beginning when MobiFlight starts, to make the MobiFlight startup faster. And that was really, really cool. But for some reason, it must have led to the fact that not every time, especially when your computer was under some load, maybe Microsoft Flight Simulator was already running in the background, not every module would always kind of be found during startup, and that was really annoying. And it was not really something that was reproducible in the sense of that I really 100% understand why it happened, but I found a cool solution that made it work for so far everyone that I know of who was experiencing this problem. And it has been, it's gone away now after a slight modification of how I initially connect to the MobiFlight module. So I'm happy that this is working now. It looks more stable. Please let me know if you are still experiencing any issues with MobiFlight not being able to find all the modules that are connected. Just reach out to us on Discord or use Bitbucket to file a story there, an issue. Then we have analog pin A15 or pin 69 was not working correctly. That is true. There was some misconfiguration in the firmware that I was able to fix. Then there was also instability with this download function that I just showed, where you can download the most recent events, and sometimes it would fail or crash. A user reported that from the beta group. A user reported this. Then we had actually also some of the pins, the configuration for micro and Uno boards, even though that they're experimental and not like 100% supported, but some of the pin information was not right. So this got taken care of. This one is actually also super cool, 337. This encoder produces opposite direction events when turned fast. This was also an observation with someone from the community was reporting, and yeah, we looked into it. We found the cause of the issue, which was actually an overflow, internal overflow of an integer value that then kind of led to the fact that after a certain amount of rotations, you would have one event that goes into the opposite direction. And I was like, I was sitting here with my power drill, and I hooked it up to one of the buttons, to one of the encoders, and I let it run full speed for a couple of seconds just to make sure that with the new firmware now there's really no way that we're running into the same issues again. So this really now works fine and stable. Config references, when references get deleted, the dropdowns don't show a sensible value. Okay, this was also a problem. Config references I showed earlier in the video. When you have, for example, here a second one and a third one, and if you were referencing in this one maybe the first configuration, so this would be take the value and assign it to the hash tag, and now you go and delete this. In the past there was something like it would just show here an empty drop down box. It wouldn't make any sense, it was confusing. So now it doesn't do that anymore. It actually takes care of taking it off the list. Missing settings after loading an MCC file. Yeah, this unfortunately happens like from time to time. We still find some issues with loading or saving configuration files. They're actually really tested with a lot of unit tests, and still sometimes when I do some refactoring or when I introduce a new value or so, then it's sometimes just easy to miss a little detail, and then it leads to the problem that something is not correctly loaded after saving, or the other way around. So in this case, there was a problem with an encoder and the button configuration. If you had those two for the same configuration entry, then it would lead to a problem sometimes. This is also taken care of, so yoo-hoo! No more bugs of this kind. So I know this is a long video. I'm really sorry about this, that it takes so long, but it was simply a big release. So let's take a look at the hotfixes. They should actually kind of not take so much time. I thought this is a great idea. Show Discord button in menu. So you might have seen next to the donate button, which is also like a really nice button to say thank you by donating through PayPal for MobiFlight if you like it. You can also donate if you don't like it. But next to this button, we have Discord. And what it does, it kind of just helps new people to find a way to the support channels. So here in help, there's also join Discord server. You can click, it takes you to the website, but it also, if you have Discord already installed, and if you have, it takes you to the website, but if you have Discord installed already on your computer, it will then also open your Discord. Continue. Now it's the web application if you don't have Discord installed just yet, and it takes you directly to our awesome MobiFlight Discord community. So I thought that's a good idea, and I probably also will add the YouTube channel video icon there, just to make it like clear for new people that there are these channels available for documentation, for receiving help, and for engaging with other people from this awesome MobiFlight community. Okay, so let's see. I think the bug fixes for those hotfixes are anyway not so important. New WASM module will okay, this was like this was an oopsie. Unfortunately, by accident, I packaged my own events user txt file, which would overwrite the events user txt file from other users, which I hope I did not overwrite so many of yours. Hopefully you skipped 8.13 and just saw the update for 8.1.4. Yeah, and then there was both were related. These two bug fixes were related to the pins, the new labels. Unfortunately, when I refactored the entire pin labeling and pin handling stuff on the software side. Two things slipped through my testing, and first, new devices. Yeah, it was not possible to add new devices, and then second, we also saw that something with the pins that are free, that are not used in the drop-down boxes when you configure those, did not show correctly. But this has been taken care of. At this point, I can say 8.1.4 is the best MobiFlight version ever. It's should be pretty stable. A lot of people are using it, and I'm super proud that it is now available for everyone. And I'm also super proud that I finished the release video. I apologize again one more time because I know this has been a long video. I've been probably way beyond the 20-minute mark, and I hope still that you like it and that you learned about learned something new about the changes. And yeah, with this being said, I just want to point out MobiFlight.com, our website. It's a great place to get access to the forums. We have also a Discord server that you have now the link. You can find the link inside of MobiFlight. Super easy. Make sure that you subscribe to my channel so that you can always get a notification whenever I upload a new video. And yeah, just give MobiFlight a try if you haven't done so yet. Download it for free anytime, install it, and then give it a try and see if it helps you create your next home cockpit. And to everyone from the MobiFlight community, a big thank you again for being such a wonderful bunch of people who help each other, who engage and give awesome feedback and share great ideas with each other. So have a good day, enjoy MobiFlight, happy landings, and good luck with building your awesome home cockpit project.